JMats here, GenerationD20.com. This is round one. Did not get Bob and George in the first round, playing against some other guy. But keepable opening hand. Obviously would like some green mana. But have the Torch, have a Cloistered Youth, have a Bonds of Faith, so a little bit of removal. A creature to apply some pressure. And like I said, we get one forest. All of a sudden, I have a much better opening hand. That Gavany Township could really start helping out if I can get out a couple of creatures. And instead I get another Plains, but if he does not present a threat, having a 3/3 guy swinging in for a little while is perfectly acceptable. And I mean, I guess depending on what threat he presents, because the other possibility is I can Bonds of Faith if he puts out a Spirit or something like that. We'll just have to wait and see. Obviously, I would prefer. Oh, okay. So, Curse of the Bloody Tome. So, I definitely want to flip my Cloistered Youth. Start attacking in for 3. Another green card without a forest, so actually I'm okay with losing those 2 cards. Don't really like the fact I got another Plains. But might as well get on the attack. Get him down to 17. I mean, the way I figure it, I'm going to be losing, 1 a turn, but obviously I'm winning the race if I'm dealing 3 a turn. Ooh, that crab. Well, Bonds of Faith. That's a perfect thing to use a Bonds of Faith on. It can't block. It loses a lot of its power that way, and I can get through for 3. Potentially playing an Elder Cather there would have been a better move, because then I could have attacked for 5 next turn, but 3 this turn and 3 next turn, or 5 next turn. I mean, I guess I'm getting 6 in that way, so no, it was better to Bonds of Faith and get in for 3. Doom Traveler, I'm not too worried about. I mean, yes, it can jump a couple times, but at this point he is getting quite a bit milled just off of that 1 curse, but at the same time I'm not that far away from, getting some serious damage in on him. And I'm a forest away from being able to make some significant moves on my board state. I got that torch in case I decide I want to burn away a blocker. Certainly not scared about my life total at this point, which is nice to not have that as a concern. And even with all those cards pitched in, not a single forest yet. That's crazy. Unfortunate, but crazy. Well, he's at 4 cards. Doesn't seem to be playing a land. So potentially he's a little bit mono-hosed. Might have something with double white that he's unable to cast. And there's a forest. So I say put out the unruly mob just in case in some weird way one of my creatures was to die. But I think we just attack in. He's either at 12 with no blockers or at 9. Could put it onto the unruly mob and will not be afraid to use that even on his spirit next turn if I need to. Although the nice thing is you can use that as direct damage too, so it's not all bad to keep it back. And if I got a forest, I could use my Gavin Township and make everyone larger. So now it makes it a little bit tougher. Obviously, the Cloistered Youth or Unholy Fiend. Oh, there we go. Now I have an answer. I can Spider Grasp to make any of my guys kill his guy. I think it's the play just to attack with the team. I mean, if he didn't pick the right person to block, I could also Gavin Township to pump my guy. Like if he tried to block the Unholy Fiend, I could make him into a 4/4. So whatever it ends up being, it could be a good result if you block the Unruly Mob. I could pump the other two to not quite win. I guess I'd be only at 7. Here, that nice thing is those uh, points from the Cather I can just send to the Unruly Mob. And end up with a couple of large creatures that could win it on their own next turn. And he'd have to be able to defend with 2 creatures. So this first game is looking pretty much in the bag. Like, he can't even Silent Departure and then Flashback because he doesn't have enough mana. So he can smite one of them, but it looks like, yep, GG. Excellent. And there's some more for us. So I am playing with them in my deck. Actually, I have many of them in my deck, but just didn't come up that turn. And his seems to be a mill strategy, which I gotta appreciate that. We here at Generation D20 love the mill above all other deck types. There again, maybe I keep it. I hate when I get into cycles like this where I'm just not drawing one type of land. No forests, but Unruly Mob, Bonds of Faith if I need to slow something other than, his Doom Traveler. Elder Cather is a nice pickup. It gives me a 3-drop so I can curve a little bit. And potentially, Bonds of Faith could be used offensively if need be. I would rather save it for a spirit or something, but here, if he forces it, no. So I could Spidery Grasp to make my guy survive. Could Elder Cather. I could Pilgrim and Bonds of Faith on my own guy. And then on this, I could attack in and just offer the trade, but I don't really need to at this point. Next turn, I'd be able to use the Spidery Grasp if I need to, or just attack with the Elder Cather. Wait and see what he does for blocking schemes. Good thing there is if I use my Pilgrim next turn, I could use the Geistcatcher's Rig to kill his spirit. That would be appearing if he chumps this turn, which I wouldn't be surprised. Looks like he's choosing that too. Fair enough. Still probably worth it to put out the Pilgrim. Gives me the option for next turn with the Geistcatcher's Rig. Because playing blue-white, there's a good chance he might have Flying Answer. He doesn't, but Bonds of Faith is perfect for that Fortress Crab. And we could actually Bonds of Faith and have Spidery Grasp up. Here, I mean, you really just take it. Now, he didn't know I was going to have a Bonds of Faith, so he thinks he has a nasty wall that can stop me from getting through, but instead I'm going to get through for 4, not a ton, but some. And if I want to, I'll be able to use my Spidery Grasp to untap and block. Might be a little excessive for a Doom Traveler, but I mean, if I want to, just so that I can kill it with my Geistcatcher's Rig, I guess could be something to be said for that. Because I probably do want to get the Geistcatcher's Rig out to get the 4 extra power on the board. And looks like George and Bob won. They are already done and waiting. So I need to get my game done so I can go and beat them, hopefully, in round 2. The head-to-head battle is what we all want to see. Oh, and a Wasted Slayer of the Wicked, which will be especially wasted when I use my Spidery Grasp so that he does not trade. Or if I use my Spidery Grasp so he doesn't trade. Nice thing here is I can offer a trade and use it to grow both of my creatures. And by offering up that, I can also cast my Spider and get the Morbid bonus. Well played. So now he has a Doom Traveler, which he'll definitely have to chump sometime soon. After he chumps, I can kill the second part with the Geist Catcher's Rig, putting me in pretty good shape for this one. I mean, it's always possible that he's going to come back for the win, but um, I like my chances. I will say that. At this point, I like my chances of victory. And it looks like he might be a little monoscrewed again. Sitting there just with one blue. He had like claustrophobia or something. He could be very frustrated that the 6 cards in hand just can't deal with it. Okay. So it puts out a couple other spirit creatures. Again, a large benefit to what I have going on is that all of my creatures, I can lure him into some sort of double, triple block, and then Spidery Grasp, which is probably what I want to do. See if I can get him to double block on the Unruly Mob. That's what I would guess. Might. Or triple block on the Pilgrim. Well, in that case, that's a pretty easy choice to use the Grasp, save my guy, kill all of his guys, including the Pilgrim. We're still one short of being able to cast the Geist Catcher's Rig, but I can kill it next turn. And so potentially, I'm swinging for lethal next turn. Just depends on what else he puts out. If he saves anything back to block with, which I think he has to. At 8 to 18, attacking for 1 is just not going to do it. Mind Shrieker is interesting because potentially the card or the bonus he could get could be enough to save him from this 4 damage. But I like taking that chance. I have a feeling it will not. I have a feeling we will be celebrating a victory very shortly. I'm going to use the card to tap this guy down, but that guy's going to die, and we will be attacking with one of our guys. Get him down to 6, or 2 no creatures on the board. Oh, and I didn't attack with the Unruly Mob, which is a pain. Right now I'm noting that. Should have been at 6. Didn't matter. He's dead. And I am on to round 2, hopefully to play myself. Not play with myself. Against myself.